But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up in vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities? This is not an isolated incident. We have had hundreds of car rammings against ICE agents all over the country. According to DHS, this lady in this car today, along with other vehicles, had been tracking ICE agents around. Why are people believing that they can drive their car into a federal law enforcement situation and that is an appropriate thing to do? I understand they don't.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and it's a sad day. Okay, we're gonna talk about a lot of things related to the shooting in Minnesota, but we're also gonna try to not rush to judgment because there's an investigation going on. The woman who was killed deserves to have a complete investigation, and also the law enforcement officer has the right to have a complete investigation. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, so John Lilly's here with me today, and we're going to be doing some things together over the next few months, and we're going to be getting John ready to maybe help me with filling in and that kind of thing. So welcome back, John. How are you?
I'm very good. It's a great honor to be back here, and I'm honored to be in this position. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before we get, so he's not going to talk much today. He's mainly going to be listening and going to be here and doing that kind of thing, but he'll chime in when he wants to. But it was a tragic day. So I was sitting at home, and it's one of these things that happen. Minnesota is a tough place because you had the problems with the George Floyd riots 5 years ago, and then you had these ICE raids. So I'm going to kind of put three vignettes together, okay? Because I think we don't know what happened before this, but we've got a few pieces to put in there, and we don't know what happened after. But I want to just tell you a few things that were going on. They interviewed some of the people that were in this neighborhood. So what happened yesterday, if you're not up to date, there was a movement in Minnesota with ICE, which is Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are federal law enforcement people, law enforcement, police officers, whatever you want to call them, but they are federal law enforcement. They were there for a number of reasons. Some of it had to do with the Somali fraud that's going on because many of those folks are illegal immigrants. Some of it had to do with regular deportation orders that were being picked up. Minnesota has said they will not cooperate with ICE when they come. They have said law enforcement cannot come if they are in trouble. Their local law enforcement cannot come if they are in trouble. Now, this time they did come, but there are a number of things that are happening. These neighborhoods where these things are happening, they have calls to let you know ICE is coming, whistles and things like that. It's very organized. Now, this is just not yesterday. This is what's happening around the country. There are apps that have been created so you can track ICE movements and that the people who are protesting ICE can be there when they're there. Now, to compound this, there was snow and ice, real ice, going on in this area. So what we know so far is that this woman who was killed, and I don't, I'm not mentioning her name because I don't have respect for her. It's just I don't know if everybody's been notified, even though her name is out there, and I want to be respectful to her family about this. So she was the leader of the convoy, according to witnesses, that were blocking the ICE vehicles. And she had her car perpendicular in the road. And she was approached by ICE. What we know from the video, she was approached by ICE. She wouldn't do what she was told to do. Number one, you got law enforcement. The time to fight law enforcement is not while they're stopping you. The time to fight law enforcement is in the courtroom. For example, when I was 16 years old and got my first speeding ticket, my time to argue with the police officer that I was not speeding was not at that time. Well, that's a small thing, but it's the same kind of thing. The time for me to talk about that would have been when I was before the judge, not while the ICE officer or whatever officer is telling you what to do. It appears that she did not comply with what she was asked to do, and she started to drive off, and there was a ICE officer in front of her that you can't clearly see in the one video, but you can see in the other video. So it appears to me that the law enforcement officer acted as he should have, because a car is a weapon. That is the reason why they are using their cars to go after these ICE agents, because they think they're safe inside their cars. And they're going to disrupt. And that is the one pod I want to set aside. And we don't know all the facts there. That's just what we've seen. The other part is the actions of the mayor of Minnesota and the governor of Minnesota, the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota. They went out and said that this woman was murdered. They went out and said that the ICE agent was at fault. They went out and said, as if they knew exactly what happened. And that's not what you do when you are an elected official and you're supposed to have some law enforcement responsibility. You always say, this is an ongoing investigation, because it is. It's not a lie. It's the fact that the FBI, they had to use tear gas to keep the crime scene to where they could investigate it and find out what was going on. And that was condoned by the mayor and by the governor, and that is wrong. Now, I thought Kristi Noem, who's the HHS secretary, her initial statement in Texas, where she was, I think, was a little tone deaf. Okay, I'll be honest with you there. But again, she didn't have all the facts, and she was expected to make a statement. By the time she got to Minneapolis last night, she actually handled things. She answered every question that she had. She answered, she was calm, cool, and collected. She said what she knew and what she didn't know. But the important thing I think that she said was, I've known Tim Walz for decades. We served in Congress together. We have worked together on things. I have spoken to him on the phone. And that's where we are on all of this. So she was respectful to the governor, but she did call he and the mayor out for not really helping the situation. You should not be inciting violence. Now, the third thing is, in the press conference that the governor gave initially, it is obvious to me that he knows that this woman was outside the bounds of what she should have been doing. And I'll tell you why. Because instead, he made all the incendiary statements, but then he had his public affairs person get up and say, this is the way you protest, this is the way you don't protest. And they talk about peacefully protesting on sidewalks, all this kind of stuff. Then they go through the list of things you don't do. You don't block traffic. You don't keep people, you don't block law enforcement. You don't get in the way of what people are doing, and you don't try to stop things. And that's all things that, unfortunately, this woman was doing. Now, I understand she has a very sad past, and again, I'm not going to drag this victim through the mud. That is not my intention here. My intention is that if she went there with the purpose of blocking ICE convoys, which it looks like that's what she was doing, and again, I'm not going to rush to judgment, these officers acted the way they should have. And there will not, and I will go as far as to say that there will be no prosecutions against these ICE officers, but people may ruin their lives. Just like the police officer in the Michael Brown situation that happened, the hands up, don't shoot, which turned out to be completely false. The initial narrative was completely false. That officer had to leave his home. He had to move to another place. He had to change his name because the mob continued to come after him. And we're better than that, folks. We'll be back.
There's something magical about a multi-generational family business. This is Phil Benelli, and on the next edition of North Georgia Business Radio X, I'll be joined by Cole Porter from Porter Steel Inc. Steal away with us Saturday at 3 on WDUN. Always here, always local.
Have you been driving 25 in a 55 mile per hour zone? Are your passengers concerned about your vision? Don't let glare at night or in the rain slow you down. Hi, this is Kim. Here at Advanced Eye Center, we offer all laser LASIK, clear lens exchange, specialty lenses with laser cataract surgery, as well as contacts and designer glasses. Our doctors handle a wide variety of vision problems for people of all ages and are skilled at providing fantastic solutions. Come see why we're voted best in Hall County year after year. Advanced Eye Center, vision correction for all ages.
Full Bloom Nursery is now closed for winter and will reopen for the spring season in March. This is Kelly letting you know that we have services we offer during the winter, including consultation, design services for spring planting, and also pruning and maintenance of your landscape. Winter is a great time to get a head start on planning that beautiful landscape you've been wanting to achieve. Visit our website at fullbloomnursery.com and select the contact button to send us a message and get started on your landscaping goals.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or bird seed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The new year means new resolutions, not just for your body, but for your finances as well. Did you know that financial health is directly related to your identity protection? This is why you need LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back. Resolve to make your identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code BECK. Terms apply.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, University of North Georgia, and Intel, officials are offering a new AI for Professional certificate program. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Venezuela going forward.
Yeah, I know. They're going to say that. I used to be a senator, too. That's what you always say when it's the other party. The bottom line is we've gone into great detail with them about the planning. We've described it to them. In fact, it's not just winging it. It's not just saying or speculating it's going to happen. It's already happening. Like the oil arrangement that we've made with PDVSA on their sanctioned oil that they can't move. Understand, they are not generating any revenue from their oil right now. They can't move it unless we allow it to move because we have sanctions, because we're enforcing those sanctions. This is tremendous leverage. We are exercising it in a positive way. The president described it last night. Secretary Wright will have more to say on it today, who is involved in running this portfolio. And we feel very positive that not only will that generate revenue that will be used to the benefit of the Venezuelan people, and we're ensured that that's what the case is, but it also gives us an amount of leverage and influence and control over how this process moves forward.
So that's Marco Rubio. They did a briefing to Congress about the Venezuelan situation yesterday. And so he was answering questions. He's doing a great job. I mean, Marco Rubio is the star right now in this administration. And, you know, I'm sure that's always a challenge when Trump's your boss. But I think they're all doing a great job right now. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Chad in Oakwood. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Good morning. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Hey, I just want to say this. Like Trump or not, he does what he says, and does what he says he's going to do. You know, he's always done that. You know what I'm saying? I predict he's going to go after Colombia next and stop this cocaine, stop this fentanyl from killing our people over here. And we need more drug counseling and get people off of drugs. as fast as we can because we're killing our people over here.
Well, good news is I'm sure you saw the numbers that the fentanyl deaths were half what they were the year before. We've had a drastic reduction in that, and so we're making a huge amount of progress in that area, and I know that's something you care a lot about.
I will say this, as a recovering alcoholic, and I've been sober 34 years.
Good for you.
Anybody's got an addiction can beat it. They got to want to. And God bless them if they try, because I know they can do it.
That is a great point, Chad. Thank you so much. And you hit the nail on the head. You got to want to. You know, whether it's quitting smoking, whether it's quitting anything that's bad for your health, that's bad for you, you've got to want to do it until you can. Your loved ones can tell you all day, every day, you need to do this, and you can agree with them. But until you make that decision yourself, you're never going to change. Change is hard. Change is really hard. And positive change, for whatever reason, is a lot harder than negative change. Okay, so thank you, Chad, for sharing that, and congratulations for being 34 years sober.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Steve in Gainesville. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Good morning, Martha. How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm a builder, you know that. I want to tie this corporately owned rental property into what Trump started yesterday, talking about that.
Yes.
I think you broke the story that we lead the nation in corporately owned single-family rental property. That's not something you want to lead the country in. It's, but I think where this started was in 2008. We did a knee-jerk and put Barack Obama in there. And what this rascal did was took and stimulated the Wall Street guys and the banks to seize our real estate, and he turned around and sold it to these mega corporations. And I think that's who's buying the real estate, because they got that property for pennies on the dollar. And the federal government was stimulating them right and left. So that put them in the rental business. I think that's where it started, and it's out of control now.
Well, Steve, you're right about that, and thanks for your call. And one of the things that, and I would frame this a little bit differently, is that after the economic crash, there was this concern that there were a lot of empty homes around, around the country. And so what Barack Obama did is he organized big investors to buy these single-family homes and rent them, with the idea that they would, once the economy got better, they would sell them and then people could buy them again. Well, you start making money off a rental property, John. You don't want to give that up.
It's hard to give it up.
And then that came along with the Airbnb thing, the short-term rental thing came around the same time. And now we have a situation where a lot of entry-level homes are rental homes as opposed to a home that you could buy.
It is very sad that young people cannot afford houses right now. I get that anger. I totally do. I don't agree with going on Twitter and complaining about it, but certainly I bought my first house when I was 24. It would be very frustrating to work hard and not be able to afford things right now.
Yeah, and the average age now is 39
it's hard
for
to believe.
someone to buy their first home. I bought my first home, I think I was around 23 also.
24.
23, 24, and it was not great, okay? It was a great house for me. I was happy with it. But that's the other thing. People expect to get HGTV in every house they buy, and you're not going to get that. But I think we got to build. I mean, I had a friend of mine that builds homes, and they were building some condos off the square here. This is several years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when the boom was happening. And the intention was to sell them for about $300,000. By the time they got them finished, they all sold for $440,000. Well, to me, that's not a starter home.
No, that's absolutely not a starter home. It's too tough for people. But we live in a wealthy town here, and people move in, go to the hospital, and they can afford homes like that. What's also happening is a lot of our senior citizens are not moving out of their homes, so people can buy them. They're staying in their homes. Yeah.
Aging in place is what they call that. And we're making that decision too. I mean, at some point in time, I have such a great home that's near North Hall High School, and I mean, it's so close I can hear the band playing on Friday night, which I love. I mean, to me, that is like one of the best things. But we've been in there 30 years.
Yeah,
I mean, this year will be 30 years. I'm not moving till I'm going out feet first, probably.
Oh, that's my mausoleum over there in Longstreet Hills. I'm not leaving.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of that's happening. And, I've thought about, though, what we would do, if Lynn passed away before me, God forbid, I couldn't keep up my house. I couldn't keep up that house by myself with the property and all that kind of stuff. So I might make a change at that point in time. But there are a lot of things that are out there. But you're right, Steve. The big difficulty is we've got to really care about building affordable homes. And that does not mean building, just a bunch of condos, I don't think. I think it's figuring out how to build like a 12 to 1,500 square foot 3-2 home like we used to build. I walked through some property over here on the other side. I think it's the Grove Midtown area. I don't know all the names of the areas in the city, but I was walking through and there was a lot of empty warehouse space over there. And I was thinking, man, this would be a great place to flatten all this warehouse space if it's not being used. It looked like it wasn't being used. I don't know if it is or it isn't. So if you're using it, don't get mad at me. I'm just putting an idea out there. You could build a little cluster neighborhood in a place like that would be walkable. You could have entry-level prices, but then what would happen is they would be so popular, they'd drive the prices up.
Well, that would be nice to reinvigorate downtown. I've been here since 1992. I don't remember downtown ever being a really nice place to go.
Yeah, it is now, which is really nice.
It'd be great for have people live down there, particularly young kids running around there. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, and John and I are both kind of Metro Atlanta transplants. So, Gainesville, I didn't come to Gainesville when I was growing up. I knew about Lake Lanier, but my parents were always working. You know what I mean? We were working middle class. I'm not saying we were lower class, but our idea of a vacation was to tag along with my dad on a business trip because he had an expense account. We never went anywhere. We'll be back.
Some car dealers want to sell you a car. At Hardy Chevrolet, we'd rather help you find the vehicle that's right for you. This is Mike Cormier. We call it the Hardy Chevrolet difference. Since you're the one who will be in the driver's seat of that new Chevy, we think you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to making the selection. It's like Charles Hardy always said,
we love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
This is Grant Nichols, and at Loretta's Country Kitchen, we know life can really pile up. There's work, getting the kids to practice, and shopping. With all that, the week can really wear you out. The last thing you want to do is spend Saturday in the kitchen. Not to worry, we've just added lunch and dinner to our Saturday lineup at Loretta's. That's right, not only are we open for breakfast on Saturdays, but we're also serving up lunch from 11 till 2 and dinner from 4:30 until 8. Give your kitchen and your family a break with breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturdays at Loretta's Country Kitchen, Mundy Mill Road, Oakwood, where it's all good.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Sunday's all about football as NFL wildcard coverage continues.
Wide open, it's caught. 10 to the 5, into the end zone.
We start with Bills and Jaguars at 1, followed by the 49ers and the Eagles with the Chargers and Patriots in the nightcap. Spend your Sunday with the NFL on North Georgia's Super Bowl station. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30. News. I'm Therese Crowley. Protesters descending on Minneapolis after Mayor Jacob Frey declared that ICE murdered a protester who gunned her SUV into ICE officers. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem was asked if the agent used deadly force before or after Renee Good hit him with her SUV.
I know you keep asking that, but that doesn't mean that the FBI is going to give you an answer today. There will be an investigation. We want to make sure that it's factual.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry.
Put the Minnesota National Guard on alert with outside groups from No Kings to climate change to communists mobilizing protesters, including to New York City today. Secretary of State Rubio, already overseeing the interim government of Venezuela, plans to sit down with Denmark next week about the U.S. designs on Greenland, saying we prefer to settle without military force. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. Authorities say not one but two Towns County Sheriff's Office employees have now been arrested as of Tuesday. WDUN's Lawson Smith reports.
The Sheriff's Office and the GBI say that now former Sergeant Andrew Glass was arrested Tuesday on charges of theft by conversion and violation of oath of office. Glass is accused of possessing a firearm that had been reported missing from the Sheriff's Office gun inventory. The news of Glass's arrest came shortly after officials confirmed that now former Sheriff's Office Major John McCoy was arrested the same day on charges of theft by deception. The GBI says McCoy was arrested after discrepancies were found in his home visits with accountability court participants.
Despite current warm temps, the winter season is underway, and with it, agencies throughout North Georgia are seeing an increase in house fires. As agencies continue to raise awareness for fire prevention, local departments have shared their tips for residents, including Hall County Fire Marshal Michael Vieira. He says electric heaters are a major concern.
Electric heaters, space heaters, make sure that you keep those things 3 feet away from anything that can burn, furniture, curtains, things of that nature.
And Vieira says half of the fires that occur nationwide happen between December and February. For more safety tips and more news, go to Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Thursday morning to you, North Georgia. Areas of patchy fog, otherwise lots of overcast skies, upper 60s. More cloud cover into tonight. Scattered showers developing with patchy fog in spots. Will be in the upper 50s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Cornelia, 53 degrees. Lawrenceville, 56. And in Gainesville, 55. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
North Georgia Land Trust. Is that what they call it, Brent?
Count, that's it. 35 years of commercial real estate, but I've always wanted to start a new land trust for North Georgia, a place where landowners can create a legacy for their land.
Everybody, we got Brent Hoffman in the studio today, and golly, Pete, this is interesting.
Well, thank you.
And all they have to do is communicate with you, right?
Just maybe go to our website, northgeorgialandtrust.org. Easy to find my phone number. Love to talk to you if you'd like to set aside land for future generations.
Well, tell me how you met Electronic Sales Company.
Paul and I have been a customer of yours for 34 years. It makes my wife feel good, the fact that we have a monitored alarm system, and you guys have done truly a good job.
Hey, folks, and if you're looking for what Brent's been experiencing for 30 plus years, call us at 770-532-3334. Also, we can be found on the website electronicsalesco.com.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, I don't think I've seen the conflict between the federal government and the states as intense as this since the civil rights movement in the 1960s, when southern states were trying to block enforcement of civil rights laws and the rest of it. This is intense. I mean, these agents, these ICE agents, had every right to be there. Indeed, one might argue they had a duty to be there. They are this nation's enforcer of the immigration laws. They certainly would like, as you heard her say, cooperation from local and other officials. But this is their job. And there's no evidence here that they weren't doing their job or doing it properly. And the way that these local officials are acting is extraordinary. And the statement that mayor made, laced with obscenities, telling the agents to get the F, and he didn't say F, out of Minnesota, is something we haven't seen in a very long time indeed. I can't believe that across the country this will sit well with the public.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and I'm here with Lisa Wexler. And Lisa, you're a lawyer, so I'm glad to talk to you about this. And obviously, I'm not going to make. There's a big investigation that's going to be going on. I'm going to try not to make any judgments because I do think there was some fast and loose language that was used yesterday that elected officials should not have used so early in a terrible incident where a person lost their life. But there has been this. I saw an interview with one person who said, yeah, we get these whistles when ICE is nearby so that we know to go out and protest and that kind of stuff. So what are your thoughts overall from a legal standpoint, but also kind of how this all unfolded yesterday?
I have to ask you, Martha, whose voice was that? Was that Tom Homan?
It was Britt Hume.
Okay, Britt Hume. Okay. I'll tell you, there's a lot of ways to look at this, and the lens to me that you have to look at this is like any other law enforcement encounter with the public, which is the duty of the police officers, and they do have a duty, to use as little harm as possible on the public when enforcing the law. They are the ones carrying a gun. They are the ones that are tasked with law enforcement. I believe that this was an excessive use of force from the point of view of looking at the video 1,000,000 times since 4 a.m. this morning, and from the people on the street and the various witnesses and eyewitnesses. This was a woman, Renee Good, who had no criminal history whatsoever, and she objected to the policy, which is controversial in many places, of ICE going into communities with masks on and guns and rounding up people that are not otherwise necessarily having any kind of criminal action against them. We know that approximately 30% of those rounded up have criminal backgrounds, but as many as 70% may not. In any event, a lot of people object to this. They see this as an intrusion into civil rights.
But
when you've got ICE on the street, Martha, when you've got them on the street in your community, in your neighborhood, they have an obligation, like any police officer with a gun and a badge, to use the least amount of force as possible given the circumstances.
And, I hear you on that, but there's also a lot of evidence, and I think we don't know the whole story yet, but there's some evidence. I saw an interview where someone that was in this convoy that she was leading said that she was the leader of this convoy, that the purpose of this convoy was to block the ICE agents from coming through, and that it was an organized thing. They had whistles and they had calls and they had things like that.
But Martha, in the moment, none of that actually matters because in the moment, as she was taking her car and very obviously trying to move away, she wasn't using her car as a lethal weapon and turning it on the ICE officers. She realized quite suddenly that she was surrounded by them and she was trying to leave. It's not a reason to shoot someone to pursue them in retreat.
Unless what we don't know is, did they say get out of the car because they were going to charge her? And then if she gets in her car and goes away, then she's running.
No. Even if they say get out of the car, there's no evidence whatsoever that she was a person that could have imposed a threat to them. She was going in the other direction. There's just no evidence that he should have shot her in the face and killed her. And by the way, did you watch the video where there was a bystander who said, I'm a physician and I want to get to her for some immediate first aid? And they said, no, we have to wait till our medics, and it took 15 minutes. Do you know how long your husband's a doctor? You know how long 15 minutes is when someone is shot?
What I'm trying to do here is to go based on I think a lot of firsthand reports, as you know, are inaccurate. A lot of firsthand reports end up being inaccurate. And you know that from courtroom stuff, that eyewitnesses are not always the best. So I'm reserving judgment is what I'm saying, Lisa. I think we need to know a lot more about what happened leading up to this, as well as, because you just see the moment in time. And I think that not only our law enforcement, because when the governor and the mayor comes out and make definitive statements about what happened, when we don't know exactly what happened, that doesn't help getting the proper justice for the victim as well as the ICE agent. And I think that Minnesota taking the position that they were not going to cooperate at all, that if ICE agents needed help, they weren't going to come. If that's I think that they have taken the wrong tact here, and that many ways the way Minnesota has approached this led to this outcome.
Well, that may be, but do you know that there were 9 shootings of ICE agents in September? 9 times civilians have been shot at. Now, that to me tells me that this was an inevitability, that inevitably someone was going to get killed. And the truth is that ICE is unfamiliar to most Americans in terms of being federal law enforcement. It's relatively recent that they have been able to roam the United States streets with guns. They're not local police. They're not FBI. They're not anything that we really recognize.
See, and again, I just think that on this we're going to have to disagree, because what has led to this problem is that for decades we have not enforced our immigration laws. And that now that we are enforcing our immigration laws, people, yes, they're unfamiliar with it because we have been playing a wink and a nod with laws that are on the books. And what ends up happening when you play a wink and a nod with laws that are on the books is anarchy, which is what we're leading to here in Minnesota.
Well, I think that that's right. I also think that the way ICE goes about its job with a mask on is not typical law enforcement and very intimidating. And you and I have had that discussion before.
Yes.
And I've objected to it from the beginning.
Well,
I think it is.
And you know what?
I think it's horrible.
I don't like it either, but they also, is it appropriate for citizens to organize and then call out these agents, say where they live, tell people to go to their homes? I mean, this didn't just start with this. This is like what happened with the Kavanaugh thing, was when they said, it kind of all the political violence that we're seeing, this idea that because of social media, they think they can put all this information out there, and you go to that law enforcement or that judge's house or whoever.
Unacceptable.
It's totally unacceptable. But they think that's the tactic now. Or not they, everybody, but certain groups of these people and think that is the tactic now. And it's wrong, and it's going to lead to more of this, whether it's Charlie Kirk or not. And we've got to get back to, I kind of agree with Britt, that there is this denial of, that's much like the civil rights movement when southern states refused to cooperate with the federal. Yeah, there were a whole lot of people in southern states that didn't want to enforce the federal law, and they were fighting against it, and that was wrong too. You can't just decide you're not going to enforce federal law, and that's what a lot of these sanctuary cities are doing.
Well, you're right. But I do think in the moment, and it's ironic, this thing happened a mile away from George Floyd. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. I don't know what's going on in Minneapolis.
That's what I'm saying. They got bad leadership there.
Something is really right. Something is. But I do think that it raises the specter in that moment of whether or not that particular ICE officer, and again, I'm talking as a lawyer now, I'm drilling down, used excessive force given the facts and circumstances facing that ICE officer. It isn't good enough to just have somebody say, I'm not listening to you, and then you shoot them in the face. It's not right. It's not a justified murder.
But she did hit an officer. When she went off, she hit an officer.
I saw what happened. I saw what happened. She gently touched him because he was trying to get to her side mirror. I saw exactly what happened also, at least to the extent that we can see that we say what happened.
I don't know. Right? Yeah, that's why I'm willing to let the investigation go.
Yeah.
And again, this goes back to, so one of the finest moments of Kasim Reed, who turned out to be a corrupt Atlanta mayor, but one of the finest moments was during the Michael Brown protests, that he went out into the crowd himself. And he said, and he was a very liberal, progressive guy, but he said, you can protest anywhere on the street, but if you get in the highway, we are going to arrest you and we are going to take action against you. And he got them to back up. So the reason why I know that, or I think that Tim Walz realizes that they have a part to play in this, because if you heard that press conference, the guy that was head of public safety said you can't get in the roads and block traffic. You can't get into, you can be on the sidewalks all you want, but you can't get in the road and block traffic. And that's, I think, kind of the line that most people will put up with. I mean, we had these No Kings protests outside here in front of my studio for months. It's gotten too cold now.
We have in Westport every Saturday on the bridge.
But they don't get in the street and they don't
block
traffic.
No, they're on the bridge. They're on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But the question becomes, if you're going to be somebody with the authority of force, how do you exercise that force in a reasonable way?
Absolutely. I get it. I get what you're saying, but I think we still have to finish the investigation before we make any judgments. But Lisa, thank you.
I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, thanks for talking about this. This is the conversation on everyone's lips. Really.
Yes,
Big
absolutely.
Conversation.
Thank you, Lisa, for being with me today. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Susan in Gainesville. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Hey, Martha. I am totally on the opposite side from this lawyer. I think these ICE officers should get all the help they can get from the police in the area, and if they don't, then they should not get any federal funds. They should be, that's the reason all this happened. And people who say inflammatory things like the mayor and the governor of Minnesota, they should be prosecuted. And most of all, the person who pays this woman to do the stuff she does, because they're paid. At least 80 to 90% of those people that come there and act violently are paid, and they're paid more when they have a violent reaction from the police or from ICE.
Absolutely. Thank you for your call today. We also got a text message from Pam that said this thing in Minnesota is sickening. We should allow these cities to blow apart and let them reap what they sow. Just cut off all government funds. And I could care less about fentanyl. It would, if it wasn't this, it would be something else. So I appreciate that message. And then we got a couple of messages from one said, I beg to differ with Lisa. Some of the videos were slowed down and it shows the officer was hit by the left front headlight. There was a photo of the first shot through the front windshield. I'm with you, Martha. All the evidence needs to play out. And then Greg said, does she realize what she said, that how you can shoot somebody in the face if they're heading in the opposite direction? She wasn't. The video shows her backing up, no shots fired, and then she pulls forward and hits the officer, and he fires. But we still have to actually, get all the evidence in. And that's what I'm just learning to do, to wait, because we used to think, oh, I got a video, John, so I know exactly what happened. But all is during that freeze frame of the video. You don't know what led up or what after. So we've also got some nice messages about John, but I'll read those next. We'll be back.
When you need news anytime, day or night, get it from the source that's been delivering local news digitally for a quarter of a century. Go with AccessWDUN.com and the Access WDUN app, powered by North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
No one knows more about North Georgia and its real estate than the Norton Agency. I'm Frank Norton, and we've been part of this region's fabric since 1928. We've seen 14 downturns and 14 upturns, and recently the profound changes in how people buy and sell real estate. We've learned to pivot, adapt, and re-engineer our company for our customers. You need Norton now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family is serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
So it's time to replace your roof. You've seen your neighbor's metal roof and wondered if that's for you. The answer is yes, thanks to Dawsonville Metal Products. Metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal gives you the maximum choices for making your roof look and function its best. It can be installed over your existing roof and can boost your home's value. Let Justin Odom show you the many benefits of metal roofing. Call Dawsonville Metal Products at 706-265-3099 and visit them online at dawsonvillemetal.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Beatles, president of your Atlanta Falcons and also proud supporter of Eagle Ranch. My family and the Falcons have been involved with the ranch for many years. Eagle Ranch has expanded its services to meet the increased needs in our community, to include outpatient counseling, a day school program, a residential program, and other therapeutic services that are both affordable and accessible. Learn more at eagleranch.org. That's eagleranch.org.
It's WDUN's Bill Main inviting you to join me September 28th as we journey to sunny Portugal with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust. We'll explore Europe's old world charm, spending multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River from the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning cliffs and whitewashed villages of the Algarve. We'll visit the breathtaking shoreline of the Portuguese Riviera and see ancient castles, groves of orange and almond trees. Plus, we'll visit the quaint villages of Lagos, Sintra, and Cascais. Then there's the famous wine, savory foods, and beautiful beaches. Plus, we'll visit a family-owned cork factory. Yeah. Colette covers all the details, flights, meals, hotels, all of that. We just need to have a good time. So don't miss out. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or visit WDUN.com for full details.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, a Royston man is killed in an early wreck Wednesday on State Route 17 in Franklin County. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
You've got streets full of people who are not local. This is not people
Right.
who are on their lunch break. This is people who are coming in from out of state to cause problems.
And people who obviously benefit from the system of corruption that the Democrats have propagated in places like Minnesota and around the country. It's why when Elon Musk did Doge, you saw the reaction you did.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and we got a couple of text messages in. Diane said, "Welcome, John. Looking forward to hearing you on Martha's show." And Zach said, "Happy New Year. I hope everyone is not sick and tired of winning yet. Hat tip to President Trump and team. God bless America." And then, good morning, Martha. I just listened to your interview with Lisa Wexler. I love the way you interview people. You did such a great job. I totally agree with you and disagree with her, but I just wanted to let you know that I enjoy listening, especially when you interview someone who, like Lisa, that was fun to listen to. You handled yourself well, and you heard another point of view.
Yeah.
That's Lisa in Gainesville. That's what we try to do. Let's go to the phones now and talk to James in Oakwood. Hey, James, how you doing?
Just fine. You?
Good.
This lady, Lisa, this lawyer, you know, I understand lawyers going to try to defend whatever, no matter who's right or who's wrong, and I don't know who is and who's not. But there's something I never heard her say. Don't be there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take a chance with bodily injury or whatever, don't go. My parents and my grandparents taught me, if there's trouble and you're there, you're going to be part of the trouble. So it's real simple. Don't go. And my thing is, when they're doing that protesting, they're throwing snowballs and rocks and whatever at police officers or ICE, the city police officers or whatever state police officers won't do nothing about it. I think the National Guard will be called in, move in behind them, and everybody there be arrested.
Thank you for your call today. And look, we had the thing in Times Square where a guy used a car to jump a curb and killed a number of people. You had just a year ago at the Sugar Bowl, a guy took his truck, rammed it into the space at the French Quarter, killed some people.
There's another one in South Carolina that happened.
South Carolina, at a bunch of Christmas fairs in Europe. I mean, it's not just happening here. They have these things called Christmas markets in Germany and Austria and places like that. There was a big one in Germany. Guy takes his car, jumps a curb, hits people. So, you know, they had this convoy. And I'm not going to cast aspersions on her because I want to get, meaning the person that was killed, because I want to get all the facts. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a line of cars that are trying to block police officers from getting where they're going to go, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, but that just what you just said proves a car can be used as a deadly weapon, and that may be what the officer was thinking. As we were talking, he'd been yelled at all day, called a Nazi, snowballs thrown at him. He was high-tempered too, so I agree with James. Don't be there. I mean, that's what my dad taught me.
If you think there's going to be trouble, don't be there. And you know, it's funny because I'm of an age where I had an opportunity. I mean, my high school went through a lot of problems when they were desegregating, and we had some protests that were there that were led by Hosea Williams, and that's a blast from the past.
Wow.
And the paddy wagon came and arrested all the kids that were involved, and I always held it against Hosea because he went in the front of the paddy wagon and came out the back, and he didn't go to jail with these kids and parents. Okay, and I remember that. And for years I held it against him, little 15-year-old Martha. And then I met him through my work when I was an adult and he was an older man. And and he was doing that great, remember, Thanksgiving dinner he used to do. So, you can't judge people by one thing. Okay. And
well said.
And you
well
learn,
said.
and I learned over time that maybe I was a little too hard on him, and then maybe he learned that he was a little too hard on people too. But we had this thing, and my parents, I always was a work from the inside kind of person. So I was the parliamentarian for the student council, and we made up little badges that said, keep your head and be cool. It was very 70s, But we were trying to make sure bad things didn't happen at our school. And if you're going to go to a protest, I've never participated in a protest in my life because I feel like you got to work from the inside. That doesn't mean I'm opposed to anybody who does, right, if you feel called to do that. Now, I take that back. I did over here in Poultry Square, one of the first Tea Party things. Okay. I was there and I spoke at the Tea Party event.
I remember that.
So I did do that kind of stuff. But I'm a peaceful protest kind of person. And when you are going down the street with a convoy of cars that you are trying to block law enforcement, you could be misunderstood in what your intentions are. And I'm sad that it led to this because, this guy is not happy either that this woman died. But you have to protect you and the people around you, and a car coming towards you at any speed, if they won't stop. Somebody said, they should have just shot the tires out. Well, it's a lot. That's not what they're trained to do. They are trained that if they draw their weapon, the point is to eliminate the threat. And if you get to the point that a law enforcement officer is drawing a weapon on you, you better start cooperating or bad things are going to happen. So, again, I'm not taking one side or the other here, although I say that. But I always fall on the side of supporting law enforcement first until it has been proven otherwise. You remember our good friend Dan Summer?
Yes.
He was the guy the police always went to when they had to be defended, because even though he was a pretty tough liberal lawyer, he also was very pro-law enforcement. We'll be back.
That's a good question, Annie. I'm Cody Lovin with Crawl Space Medic. Musty smells, dampness, and sagging insulation means your crawl space or basement might need some attention. Our team quickly finds and fixes moisture problems, updates moisture barriers, and resolves structural issues, ensuring your home stays dry and comfortable. Don't let your crawl space problems affect your comfort, air quality, or property value. Visit crawlspacemedic.com.
A healthy home starts from the ground up.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain. Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast. Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
A standoff on a street in Minneapolis. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Demonstrators confronting federal immigration agents the day after a shooting they call murder.
Demanding that ICE leave the city, protesting the death of Renee Good.
She was fighting for her immigrant neighbors, just as so many of us have been. And now she's gone!
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says Good attempted to ram her car into an ICE agent.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents.
an act of domestic terrorism.
City and state top Democrats dispute that. Governor Tim Walz readying the National Guard if needed. Minneapolis schools have canceled classes for the rest of the week.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Police in Utah keep searching for the gunman who shot 2 people dead and wounded 6 more, opening fire last night outside a church. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd says,
"We don't believe this was a targeted attack against a religion."
The shooting was in the parking lot as a funeral service was taking place inside the church. The Senate's getting ready for a vote on a war powers resolution today, pushed by Democrats, upset over the military operation in Venezuela that captured leader Nicolas Maduro.
Their plan seems to be to steal the oil and use the leverage over the oil to try to micromanage the country on a day-to-day basis. That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Senator Chris Murphy wants to force the president to get Congress's approval to take more action in Venezuela. Republican Senate Leader John Thune just told Fox,
"This is the Democrats trying to, poke the president, and I hope that we have the votes to defeat it."
Someone in space is sick. A spacewalk scheduled for today canceled.
An astronaut aboard the International Space Station is suffering what NASA is calling a medical concern. They will not elaborate as to what is the nature of this concern, nor are they identifying who among the crew is affected.
That's Fox's Evan Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and Georgia State Patrol is investigating after a fatal crash Wednesday morning in eastern Franklin County. WDUN's William Daughtry reports.
55-year-old Thomas Robert Hyde of Royston was pronounced dead at the scene after his vehicle was hit from behind on Georgia 17 at around 7 a.m. Hyde's Jeep Liberty was reportedly stopped and possibly disabled in the northbound lane when it was hit by a northbound Ford Expedition. The State Patrol says heavy fog is believed to have been a factor, and the driver of the Expedition was not believed to have been impaired at the time. No charges have been filed.
A Houston teen is facing a list of charges in Hall County after allegedly leading authorities on a chase between Hall and Gwinnett counties on Sunday. The chase started when 17-year-old Leandro Garcia Juarez fled from a traffic stop in a Kroger parking lot on Spout Springs Road near Thompson Mill Road.
Suspect continued speeding down Thompson Mill Road and entered into Gwinnett County. Everything ended when Garcia Juarez hit 2 vehicles near Sardis Church Road.
That was Sheriff's Office spokesperson B.J. Williams, who says Garcia Juarez is being held in the Hall County Jail without bond on charges that include aggravated assault on an officer, fleeing, and reckless driving. In Georgia, the winter season usually means an uptick in house fires. And with the season well underway, local fire departments have shared fire safety tips for residents.
I would say the top fire safety tips, smoke alarms to me would be the number one. Making sure that those working smoke alarms, they're tested, the batteries are changed, making sure that those smoke alarms are going to activate during an emergency.
That is Assistant Chief Josh Taylor with the White County Emergency Services, who says that the department saw 32 fires in December of 2025 alone. And while causes remain under investigation, common fire origins include cooking or heating a home. And a local university has recently launched a new $800 AI certificate. WDUN's Lawson Smith explains.
Titled AI for Georgia Professionals, the program will be in partnership with Intel. UNG celebrated the launch of the certificate on Wednesday with a demonstration at their Dahlonega campus. The certificate costs $800 and focuses on responsible AI use, understanding AI, and unlocking productivity with generative AI.
Registration's open Tuesday. You can find out more details with a link and more news at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Thursday morning to you, North Georgia. Areas of patchy fog, otherwise lots of overcast skies, upper 60s. More cloud cover into tonight. Scattered showers developing with patchy fog in spots. Will be in the upper 50s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Statham, 58 degrees. Tallulah Falls, 55. And in Gainesville, 57. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
This is Nick
and Laura from
Nichols Body Shop. We want you to know it's your choice who repairs your vehicle.
Do not assume you can get the best repair for the cheapest price.
Every shop is different.
We work for you, our customer, to give you the best repair possible.
Learn more by calling 770-967-8200 or come by the shop. Estimates are always free.
You can also find us on Facebook at Nichols Body Shop,
the home of quality repairs
and old-fashioned service.
It's bad enough you get wet when your roof leaks, so don't get soaked when it comes to getting it repaired. This is Chris Earls at Georgia Select Roofing, where we have outstanding Google reviews and an A+ BBB rating, because we know roofing and customer service. If it's a new roof, a roof repair, or gutters and downspouts, estimates are free and we offer financing. See us online at georgiaselectroofing.com or call me at 678-316-6899. At Georgia Select Roofing, we have you covered.
Talking about the issues that affect you most. It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. Now from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, here's Martha Zoller on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
We have some breaking news out of the White House. Eamon Javers has that for us. What do we know here, Eamon?
Scott, we've got a new post here on social media from the President of the United States who says he is taking action to deal with inflation in home costs. The President taking to social media to say that I am immediately taking steps to ban large institutional investors from buying more single-family homes, and I will be calling on Congress to codify it. People live in homes, not corporations. I will discuss this topic, including further housing and affordability proposals and more at my speech in Davos in 2 weeks. So the president here is saying that the American dream of owning a home has gotten out of reach for too many Americans, particularly young Americans, and says he is going to take steps to block large institutional investors from buying homes.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and joining me right now is Representative Mike Collins. He is running for the United States Senate, and he's also the congressman from the 10th District. Welcome back, Mike. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I thought something had happened. All I got was nothing.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, we played a little audio coming in about the president talking about preventing big investors from buying up homes and what a big deal that is for affordability and that kind of thing related. And that's the first topic I want to talk with you about is the economy and affordability because, you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done related to that. And it seems like we're making some progress.
We are. And if you think about what the president did yesterday and you look at Atlanta, Georgia, 25% of the homes up there being bought up by these big conglomerate corporations and turning them into rental subdivisions. And, you know, it's just making it almost impossible, especially for the next generation, to have the ability to be able to afford a home. You know, that's one of the main reasons that I came to D.C. is I just didn't see where the younger people had the same opportunities today that I had when I was their age. I mean, I built my first house that we lived in at the age of 23. And now you're talking about a median age of first-time homeowners at, 35 plus?
No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, I have 4 children, and my 3 older sons, there was a little gap between my youngest son and my daughter. And so they're like 40, 42, and 44, and they are on the property ladder. They've bought a house, you know, kind of when all of us did, and they're kind of doing fine. My daughter, that was kind of our surprise child, is 34, and she and her husband are having a terrible time. And it's not that they don't save money. It's not that they don't, you know what I mean, that they don't budget right. But the big problem they have is wages have been fairly stagnant in certain fields, which you know that. We're starting to see some improvement in that, but I'm sure you hear that from young people all the time. And it takes so much more with the interest rates being high and the prices being high to buy a house.
Yeah, but Martha, this is what I tell people all the time. It's not that you can put one little piece back on the puzzle board and say, okay, the puzzle's done. We're moving so many pieces at one time to make sure that we get back to a country where everybody has the ability to chase whatever their version of the American dream is. And in this case, you've got regulations, you've got permitting, you've got foreign labor that's been imported into our country. That's where your wages are being depressed. I don't care whether it's somebody doing carpentry work, roofing, or doing computer analysis work. When you bring in foreign labor at cheaper prices, these younger people don't have the same opportunity to go and get that career job.
Absolutely. So before we get into talking about the campaign, I wanted to give you an opportunity to comment on the news this week related to the ethics investigation around you in your office, because, you know, I think it's important that people hear from you what you can say about it.
Yeah, sure. And, and the ethics committee acknowledged that there was a complaint filed. That's what they did. And, but Martha, sadly, this is just part of the game. Especially when you're winning. And I also know this just from being a business owner out there, that when you're winning or you're doing well, people want to see you fall. These are nothing other than bogus allegations from some disgruntled former employees with a vendetta. We've done everything above board, and I'm looking forward to working with the committee, and we'll get this cleared up quick as possible.
Now, you also rolled out an amazing list of supporters this week, and I'm seeing your signs everywhere. And how is the campaign going? And how are you balancing, running for Senate and being a congressman?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, it's we've got so much going on up here. It's incredible. So you've got to do your job up here, and it's an honor and a privilege to be doing that. So don't take it that I'm not. I'm up here now.
Yes.
We're voting on 3 appropriation bills this week. So it's exciting times to be a member of Congress, but at the same time, this is all I've ever done. Martha, you've heard me. The good Lord put me on the earth to work, and I just love it. So if I'm breathing and awake, I'm doing something. And so we've had such great success across the state. You're right. We started out with 400 convoy captains or county chairs across the state, and that's your grassroots people, and we just doubled that number. We're the only campaign in this race that has done that, even organized all 159 counties. So we hit the ground running hard 5-6 months ago, and just haven't looked back.
So we're coming up on another shutdown deadline. How is that looking right now?
We'll do 3 appropriation bills this week. They should get over to the Senate when we get through this week. They'll run them right on over there, and then we'll take up the others, good Lord willing, next week and the next week. And we have the opportunity to avoid this shutdown. We just need to stay here and make sure we get this work done for the American people. That's my goal. I'm here. I'm available. I don't care what day or what time of night. But we need to make sure that we pass the rest of those appropriation bills.
I want to ask you a tough question, really, because you may not want to say bad things about anybody that you've ever worked with, and I'm not going to ask you to do that. But I'm very frustrated with the number of people that are quitting their jobs before it's over. Whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene in the 14th, which is going to lead to 4 or 5 elections in that area, or it's local guys. And I'm not going to name them all off. You know who they are. What frustrates me about that is you guys ask for these jobs. You know what I mean? You run for it, you raise money for it, you ask for it, and just because you decide to run for another job, it's annoying to me that people are quitting. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It makes it tough on us. I'm gonna tell you, Marjorie's done a great job for her district. She's represented it very well. She understands her district. I can't answer to why she left early.
And I'm not asking you to answer that, but in general...
And I don't think, Martha, anybody knew that Doug LaMalfa was going to pass away the same day.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're down to a 1-seat majority. I don't know if America knows that or not. And we'll be at a 1-seat majority until at least April the 10th or 11th when they replace the 14th district there here in Georgia. It'll be in April. But we've got a 1-seat majority. And most people don't know it, but we had a member out in California, and he's in his 80s now. He had an accident with his wife over the weekend.
Oh yeah, I saw
that. Rolled their vehicle. So, we're waiting on him to get back, and we've got several with spouses that are battling cancer. And you always have things like that going on, and I'm a firm believer that you stick to it, man. You stick with it.
As hard as
Not
you
every
can.
day's a bed of roses.
So I got 2 negative mailers about ASA from Americans for Prosperity this week. I think we need to spend a lot more time talking about him than going after each other. This is going to be a contested primary. I think it's going to be. I love contested primaries because I think it makes the candidates better. I know you candidates throw things at me when I say that, but
yeah, no. Can we have an easy one every once in a while?
I know. But you are, you've got to pass Ossoff in the halls sometimes or do that. I mean, what's that like right now, being up there running for this seat and having to deal with him in the Georgia delegation?
Well, I think it's just showing a big distinction of the difference. You've got John Ossoff on one hand that's out there writing letters to be nice to illegal immigrants. And then you've got Mike Collins on the other side over here who authored the Lake and Riley Act and got it passed, and then had to drag him kicking and screaming to even pass it and help and vote on it in the Senate. Wouldn't lift a finger for that. And so, Martha, the longer we're up here, the more forward I look to getting on the stage and for people to be able to make a choice between two people that have only served one term in Washington, D.C. And he's had 4 years of it, almost 5 years, to be able to do something, and has done nothing. And then you've got a small businessman on the other side that got his brains beat in for 30 years in a very tough industry, that took that work ethic and that knowledge to D.C. and got two things passed in 2 years. And that's just the things that I got passed that were mine alone, not to mention the other things that we've done for numerous things throughout the state and the country. But I look forward to litigating this case and letting Georgians decide on just who they want sitting in that Senate seat over there. We've got a great opportunity. We'll win this race. I guarantee you he won't outwork me. And nobody's going to be able to outwork us. But when we lay the facts on the table and people take a look, they want somebody to come up here that's willing to do bipartisan work if it's productive and get it done. And they also want somebody to come up here and fight. And I mean fight for things like that nursing student in Athens, Georgia, Lake and Raleigh.
Oh, absolutely.
For our younger people
I think people
like you and I were talking about.
Cannot underestimate how big that is, that your leadership on that issue, because that's crosses all lines. Mike Collins, thank you so much.
17,000 people have been escorted out of this country, deported because of that one bill, that one piece of legislation.
Wow, that's great. Mike Collins, thanks for being with us today. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls and your text messages. We'll be back.
The news you need.
I think it's very important.
When you need it.
We need to know the truth.
Always here. Always local. We're North Georgia's News Talk. AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
North Georgia Land Trust. Is that what they call it, Brent?
Count, that's it. 35 years of commercial real estate, but I've always wanted to start a new land trust for North Georgia, a place where landowners can create a legacy for their land.
Everybody, we got Brent Hoffman in the studio today, and golly, Pete, this is interesting.
Well, thank you.
And all they have to do is communicate with you, right?
Just maybe go to our website, northgeorgialandtrust.org. Easy to find my phone number. Love to talk to you if you'd like to set aside land for future generations.
Well, tell me how you met Electronic Sales Company.
Paul and I have been a customer of yours for 34 years. It makes my wife feel good, the fact that we have a monitored alarm system, and you guys have done truly a good job.
Hey, folks, and if you're looking for what Brent's been experiencing for 30 plus years, call us at 770-532-3334. Also, we can be found on the website electronicsalesco.com.
Happy New Year from your Hall County Tax Commissioner, Darla Eden.
Start 2026 with peace of mind. Your 2025 property tax statement has arrived and it's due January 23rd. We know life gets busy, so we've made paying simple, secure, and convenient. At hallcountytax.org, you can look up your bill, check your balance, and make a payment anytime. If you have questions about your statement or payment options, our team is just a call or a text away.
Service, efficiency, accountability. Your Hall County Tax Commissioner.
You've got meals to plan, children to ferry from practice to ball games, shopping and dusting, and good grief. Give yourself a break and take your laundry to Townview Coin Laundry. Take your comforters, quilts, blankets, and mattress covers. They'll wash, dry, and fold your laundry, or you can use their industrial-sized machines. Townview Coin Laundry saves wear and tear on your washer and dryer and on you, too. Get the stains out at Townview Coin Laundry at the corner of Bradford Street and College Avenue in downtown Gainesville, open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Did you know that one of Georgia's 9 regional food banks is located right here in Hall County?
The Georgia Mountain Food Bank collects and warehouses donated food and distributes it to more than 65 feeding partners and meal serve sites across our 5-county service area of Hall, Dawson, Lumpkin, Union, and Forsyth counties. Learn more about our mission and how you can make sure that people in our community have the food they need to thrive. Visit gmfb.org.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, fire officials throughout Northeast Georgia offer tips to protect homeowners from the increase of winter season fires. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I think there's some details we don't know yet, and we'll have to learn more about it. What strikes me is, first of all, it's extremely sad and unfortunate that someone died. I mean, the political fighting and disagreements aside, it's terrible. You don't want people to die in law enforcement situations or otherwise. But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up in vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities?
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and you could join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. You can also text us at that number, and it is the talk and text line at L&M Rental. We're also in the Northeast Georgia Health System studio, and we're very happy to be here. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Rhett in Snellville. Hey, Rhett, how you doing?
Good. Oh, very good today, Martha. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. Well, today I'm calling from Snellville, and I've recently gotten to know our state House representative and the upcoming legislative priorities for this person. And it goes with the property taxes for people who are corporate owners of homes versus real owners of homes that might help with this corporate ownership of homes outweighing, private owners of homes. So that is a priority in our Georgia House this year, and maybe some industrious Georgia House people could get on board with this and maybe make it more affordable for private citizens to own homes.
Absolutely, Rhett. Thank you for your call today. And yesterday, John, Governor DeSantis announced, so yesterday we had a lot happen on home ownership. You had President Trump talk about making homes more affordable. 2 days ago, Ron DeSantis, who's in, I think, maybe his last session, it may be his next to last session, he said he wants to eliminate property tax for people that are living in their homes. So like people are doing short-term rentals, people are doing rentals, that kind of thing. But if you own a home and you live in it, they want to reduce your property tax or eliminate it. And the idea is that one of the problems with states, and I'm setting this up this way because we're talking about eliminating income tax in Georgia too, is that when you eliminate income tax, like in Tennessee and Florida, their property taxes are higher. Their sales taxes are higher.
You're going to get it somehow.
They're going to get it somehow. So DeSantis is introducing, it's an interesting proposal to get rid of property taxes, but only if you live in the home. If you're using it for, like a rental property, or if you're a short-term rental and you're making money off of it, then you still would have property tax.
I'd have to see the numbers on that. It makes me wonder, you're going to have a bunch of streets with potholes, and what are we going to lose if that happens to us? So I'd be interested to see if that works. Nobody wants more taxes, so I'm sure people would vote for that. You just don't know the ramifications of it just yet.
No, absolutely. And then yesterday, the Senate committee that had been meeting about taxes put a proposal together, and I want to be sure I get this right here. The Georgia Senate Special Committee on elimination of Georgia income tax held a special session, and what they proposed is eliminating income tax on the first $50,000 of income for individuals and $100,000 for joint filers starting in 2027, which would cover 2/3 of Georgia taxpayers. The state income tax would then be phased out gradually for remaining taxpayers. And so Americans for Prosperity are saying it's a pretty good idea, but I've got to see the details on it. I am in favor of getting rid of income tax in theory, but you're right. You've got to figure out where it is. And I am a lot more in favor of local taxes. I know you're going to throw things at me than I am federal taxes, because I can see what my money's getting locally.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%.
And I have a lot more say so, because I'm going to see you in the store if you're the county commissioner and say, hey, lower my taxes.
And there's probably a lot less possibility of fraud.
Yes.
And being with some oversight. So I'm like you. I'd like to see the numbers, but I can just see both sides going back and forth, and us not really getting the clear picture that we need.
And we have a whole bunch of people running for higher office that, that are trying to put this forward next year. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Ed in Brazelton. Hey, Ed, how you doing? Oh, he hung up. Okay. So you can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. There are a lot of things that we're going to be talking about today related to this tax thing. And this session does start next week. And so we'll start talking again once a week to Americans for Prosperity. What I love about them is they're kind of libertarian Republican.
So you trust them?
I do trust them.
Okay.
I trust them greatly. They are really a terrific organization, and I've done a lot of things to I've done a lot of work with them. I've done a lot of knocking on doors with them, as well as other kinds of work, and I think they do a great job.
Good.
Yeah. They always get, the people on the other side always go, the Koch brothers, because they started Americans for Prosperity. But I don't begrudge people spending money on ideas. And in the case of the Americans for Prosperity, everything's out in the open. It's not like the George Soros, I should say Alex Soros money now, because George Soros has got dementia and he's in his late 80s and all that. He's not a factor anymore. But his organizations are, but that you never know what they do. Americans for Prosperity is out there. Yeah, it was started by the Koch brothers, but a whole lot of people like me have given money to them over the years, and they really represent the grassroots.
Yeah, what I like about that was Soros, but not knowing what he's doing, people on the right can just throw Soros, not knowing the truth.
That's right. Everything's not Soros. Right. It's kind of like, I remember a long time ago when Chris Riley was the chief of staff for Governor Deal, he laughed. He was so funny because he said, if I did all the things people accused me of, I would never have time to do anything else. We'll be back on the Martha Zoller Show.
For the Norton Agency, selling real estate is personal. Our family name and reputation stand behind every sign, every business card, every associate, and every sale. With the ever-changing real estate practice, we hold strong ideals and professionally train and support our real estate advocates through every segment of the complicated process. I'm Frank Norton, and you can count on it. Norton, now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The regular season's over. Now it's time to deal the wild cards.
Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser goes home.
The NFL moves into postseason play as the Panthers host the Rams, followed by the Bears hosting the Packers.
To the 5, into the end zone.
Coverage begins this Saturday at 4 on North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Tempers flaring in Minneapolis this morning after an ICE-involved shooting that kills a woman. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more.
Activists continue gathering in Minneapolis, demanding that ICE leave the city, protesting the death of Renee Good. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says Good attempted to ram her car into an ICE agent. City and state top Democrats dispute that.
Former House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer announces his retirement from Congress at the end of this term. The Democrat first elected in a special election in 1981. Hoyer turns 87 years old later this year. And the Senate's procedural vote from Senator Tim Kaine's War Powers resolution will happen shortly. Democrats need 51 votes to send it to the House. Unlikely the lower chamber would bring it up for a vote. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and Georgia State Patrol is investigating after a fatal crash Wednesday morning in eastern Franklin County. WDUN's Lawson Smith reports.
55-year-old Thomas Robert Hyde of Royston was pronounced dead at the scene after his vehicle was hit from behind on Georgia 17 just north of Royston at around 7 a.m. Hyde's Jeep Liberty was reportedly stopped and possibly disabled in the northbound lane of the roadway when it was hit by a northbound Ford Explorer. The State Patrol says heavy fog is believed to have been a factor in the crash, and the driver of the Expedition was not believed to have been impaired at the time.
The winter season is underway, and with it, agencies throughout North Georgia are seeing an increase in house fires. As agencies continue to raise awareness, local departments shared their tips for residents. And Hall County's Fire Marshal Michael Vieira says electric heaters are a major concern.
Electric heaters, space heaters, make sure that you keep those things 3 feet away from anything that can burn, furniture, curtains, things of that nature.
For more safety tips, you can visit Access WDUN. And good news out of Gwinnett County in regards to a missing persons case from Lawrenceville. The Gwinnett County Police were announcing this morning they have located 59-year-old Christopher Lawrence Clark of Lawrenceville, who had been missing since October. He is safe. No further details provided. More news at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Thursday morning to you, North Georgia. Areas of patchy fog, otherwise lots of overcast skies, upper 60s. More cloud cover into tonight. Scattered showers developing with patchy fog in spots. Will be in the upper 50s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Claremont, 59 degrees. Sugar Hill, 62. And in Gainesville, 60. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Are you frustrated with your contacts? Have your glasses become more of a burden? Well, don't suffer. Hi, this is Kim. Here at Advanced Eye Center, we offer all laser LASIK to free your eyes. When you consider not only the amount of money you pay for all of that eye gear, but also the amount of time you spend handling contacts, glasses, cases, solution, and eye drops, how can you not afford to have LASIK? Invest in you. Save your money. Save your time at Advanced Eye Center. Vision correction for all ages.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, I think that ICE needs to constantly reevaluate their tactics and the strategies and whether their officers are being trained properly on the use of excessive force. We'll find out if this was excessive force during an investigation here. But
will there
keep
be
in
an
mind-
investigation, you think?
Let's keep in mind, though, David, they're doing something we haven't done before. This country hasn't been serious about enforcing our immigration laws for a long time. And so this is new territory doing this. And they're doing so in a hostile environment. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, told citizens to show up in front of ICE. He has encouraged people like Ms. Good to go out and disrupt the work of law enforcement.
It is the Martha Zoller. It is the Martha Zoller show. And joining me right now is a spokesperson for the RNC, Kiersten Pels, is with us right now. I'm having a little trouble. I'm going to plug into a different thing because I'm having a little trouble hearing. There's something going. There's a humming going on, so I apologize for that. Oh, that's better. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, Kiersten. We had a little technical trouble for a second there. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
So, I want to talk about the economy today, and especially this housing announcement that President Trump made yesterday. Just give us a lay of the land and an overview.
Absolutely. So, President Trump has been delivering for everyday Americans for a full year now. Imagine the disaster that he inherited under Biden, where Biden had driven prices through the roof, and President Trump inherited that. That's the reason the voters chose him to be their president in 2024, is because they believed in him, that he was going to turn this economy around. That's exactly what he's done. He's putting the American people first. Under President Trump, Americans are keeping more of their paycheck, prices are down, jobs are up. The border is secure, which is a huge one. And I saw this morning, too, that gas prices might be at their lowest levels since 2020. And that is huge news, especially given the fact that under Biden, he declared a war on American energy, and compare that to President Trump, who was unleashed American energy, ensuring that American families across this country can afford to fill up their cars at the pump. And this is a huge impact on Americans. And again, like with the housing announcement yesterday, this is another example of where President Trump is looking at the concerns of the American people. He's hearing them loud and clear, and he's putting up innovative, creative solutions to ensure that American families can afford a home, American families can afford the American dream. And that's the platform that he ran on and won so successfully in 2024, and that's what he's going to keep delivering for the next 4 years.
We're talking to Kiersten Pels, who's the RNC National Press Secretary, and I appreciate you. We had a little trouble right there at the beginning of the segment, but everything's good now. And, you know, yesterday, of course, was a difficult day news-wise, and I wanted you to just kind of pull the curtain back and let people know kind of from your perspective when you're dealing with being a press secretary, when an event like, because we are in this world where we have this, you know, these big events that happen day after day, and then we move on to the next one and we go through. How does that impact what you have to do or what the president and the White House has to do as far as how they message and also that they do the work of the American people?
That's actually a great question. I think especially when you look at big actions that this president, this administration is taking, a lot of these things end up being really revealing, especially when you look at the Democrats' response to these things. So, for example, what we saw in Venezuela, where President Trump executed this very flawless mission to bring a communist dictator who's a narco-terrorist flooding our country with deadly drugs to justice with no American casualties, in and out in a few hours. Again, flawlessly executed. Our American service members were so courageous and so brave. And then you have Democrats out there criticizing this and railing against Trump for bringing this communist dictator to justice. Those are the moments that are really revealing, I think, especially when you look day to day in the news cycle, because Democrats, their hypocrisy just runs so deep. Their Trump derangement syndrome just runs so deep because they are unable to acknowledge a simple fact of when this administration does anything good, they can't admit it. And they're so just ideologically captured and so sort of blinded by their own hatred of one man that they are unable to just at least acknowledge the results that he's been delivering. So that's sort of what I saw in Venezuela. And you look at Democrats for years talking about how they wanted to bring Maduro for justice. Even under Biden, there was a $25 million bounty on his head, but the Biden administration failed to act. And all of these Democrats, Chris Murphy, Chris Van Hollen, Dick Durbin, Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer said that he demanded results for years. And now that President Trump has delivered, they're panicking, they're spiraling. It makes them look weak, it makes them look shameless, and it makes them look like they're liars, because they are. So I think these moments can be incredibly revealing for, I guess, how the Democrats are really just, again, driven by this far left sort of hatred for the America First movement and all of the results that the president has been delivering.
So what are you guys working on for the next few days? What can we expect? Because I know we're coming up on a new government shutdown, which it looks like. We talked to Congressman Mike Collins earlier in the program, who's also running for United States Senate, and they said they're actually doing some great work in the House getting appropriations bills passed, and that they kind of have an eye on getting, all those appropriations bills passed, which might avoid the shutdown the right way. And but you got to be thinking, even though one event could happen that could change what you're looking at, you got to be thinking ahead a little bit. What are you looking at?
Oh, well, absolutely. And if you look at the last government shutdown that was completely brought on by Democrats who were holding the government hostage over Obamacare subsidies that they designed themselves to expire. Democrats are committed to playing these games and really stymieing this president's agenda. I think Republicans in Congress, President Trump, are really focused on bold, innovative ideas to ensure that healthcare costs are low for the American people, that costs across the board are low. We're obviously still going to be focused on affordability, and this administration has not taken their foot off the pedal. They're continuing to drive down prices for the American people. If we go into next year, we'll see the tax refunds start to hit for the One Big Beautiful Bill. Americans are going to get their refunds. They're going to see more money in their pockets. Interest rates will be cut, and if this happens, the economy will be supercharged. I know Scott Bessent has been talking about that, and so I think that we're really focused on the issues that are that American voters are really concerned about. Obviously, Congress has a role to play in this, and we've seen the tactics that Democrats have put up in the past to really just sort of try to be obstructionists, just because they really can't do anything else. They have nothing to offer other than obstruction and complaints, and they have no results to speak of, and they have no ideas that they can really actually carry out that would be beneficial. They're all just far leftists who are intent on stopping the progress that we've made. And so there's a lot coming down the line, and I think hopefully a lot of good that will be done for the American voters over this next year, heading into the midterms.
Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting time. For me, what I'm looking for, and I got one of the pieces yesterday, which was about home ownership and the cost of homes and how to, work on that particular issue. And then the other thing is income, because what I'm seeing my children are 34 to 44, and my kids that are in their early 40s, they are in a very different place than my daughter that's in her early 30s. And it's a different way of approaching homeownership and that kind of thing. And the challenges she's having are very much income and home price related. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that she's done anything differently. I mean, she works hard, she saves her money, she budgets well, all of that kind of thing. But the combination of higher home prices and higher interest rates has made it very difficult. And then the incomes are stagnant in certain fields, but we're starting to see that move also. So for me, as not only a strong conservative, a strong Republican, and someone that has, young people that I care about, that's kind of where my head is at.
Absolutely. And you raise a great point. And this is why younger voters, I think, flocked over to Republicans and President Trump in 2024, because they saw that Democrats don't have any solutions. The party that always said that they represented younger voters and the youth vote had completely abandoned them. And so President Trump is committed. I know this seems to be something that the administration is laser focused on, is like, how can we ensure the American dream, especially for younger Americans who their concerns, they have concerns, and they have legitimate concerns. And those concerns are being addressed. I think if you look again, what you mentioned on the housing front, President Trump is committed. He really believes that Americans should be able to afford to own a home in this country. And that's something that he has prioritized. It's something he talks about on the campaign trail. It's something he will continue to do. And if you look at what Democrats are claiming to represent or claiming to, like Mamdani in New York, for example, when he's talking about rent control that would actually long-term drive up rent
or
prices.
a new relationship with home ownership that one of his people's talking about. Kiersten Pels, thank you so much for being with us today, and appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll take a break.
When it comes to where you get your news, what's important to you?
I want to hear news that doesn't take sides.
I want to hear clear reporting that's easy to understand.
Always here with the news you need. AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Full Bloom Nursery is now closed for winter and will reopen for the spring season in March. This is Kelly letting you know that we have services we offer during the winter, including consultation, design services for spring planting, and also pruning and maintenance of your landscape. Winter is a great time to get a head start on planning that beautiful landscape you've been wanting to achieve. Visit our website at fullbloomnursery.com and select the contact button to send us a message and get started on your landscaping goals.
They say it's hard to find things that are built to last. That may be true for some things, but not for metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal. Metal roofing can last up to 50 years. Now that's quite an improvement from traditional asphalt shingles. But more than durable, metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal is also fire and impact resistant. Plus you get all the quality and durability for about the same cost as a shingled roof. Talk to Justin Odom at Dawsonville Metal Products at 706-265-3099 or log on to DawsonvilleMetal.com.
You've got meals to plan, children to ferry from practice to ball games, shopping and dusting, and good grief. Give yourself a break and take your laundry to Townview Coin Laundry. Take your comforters, quilts, blankets, and mattress covers. They'll wash, dry, and fold your laundry, or you can use their industrial-sized machines. Townview Coin Laundry saves wear and tear on your washer and dryer and on you too. Get the stains out at Townview Coin Laundry at the corner of Bradford Street and College Avenue in downtown Gainesville, open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
North Georgia Land Trust. Is that what they call it, Brent?
Count, that's it. 35 years of commercial real estate, but I've always wanted to start a new land trust for North Georgia, a place where landowners can create a legacy for their land.
Everybody, we got Brent Hoffman in the studio today, and golly, Pete, this is interesting.
Well, thank you.
And all they have to do is communicate with you, right?
Just maybe go to our website, northgeorgialandtrust.org. Easy to find my phone number. Love to talk to you if you'd like to set aside land for future generations.
Well, tell me how you met Electronic Sales Company.
Paul and I have been a customer of yours for 34 years. It makes my wife feel good, the fact that we have a monitored alarm system, and you guys have done truly a good job.
Hey, folks, and if you're looking for what Brent's been experiencing for 30 plus years, call us at 770-532-3334. Also, we can be found on the website electronicsalesco.com.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, University of North Georgia, and Intel, officials are offering a new AI for Professional certificate program. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and John Lilly's been with me today, kind of observing, and he had been with me one time before, and we're going to be training him to do a little bit of filling in, so we're excited about that. We got a couple of text messages that came in at 770-535-2911. Let's see if I could get to it. Let's see. We've got one that came in from from Josh Morris in East Hall. Said, I agree with your preference for tax to be more local. However, a person should not have to pay more for local services just because he wants to buy a $600,000 house rather than a $400,000 house. Also, people who want to hang on to some land rather than their primary home shouldn't have to pay more to the government just because of that ownership and then be taxed again for capital gains when it sells. We need to get away from taxing things that people own based on government assessed values. You know, and I think that discussion's happening, John. I do. Now, you have rental properties. You deal with the fact that you've got your own properties as well as all that kind of stuff. So you have to deal with all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and you get these appraisals or assessments, and you just wonder, where is it coming from? Who's doing this? And I have a hard time, like my house, you can come sit in my drafty basement and dare try to tell me it costs that much. So
yeah.
That's hard sometimes when you see that. But that's a good premise. It shouldn't be like the texter said there. So I stay confused in how they come up with their home prices.
It's so true. It's so true. You know, I like in Columbus, Georgia for years, they've done this thing where the value of your home does not change as long as you're living in it. And then it goes steps up, you know, when it gets sold. Because really, what is the value of your home? You can say by comps and all this kind of stuff, but really, until you sell it, it's kind of like stocks. You know, people talk all day about their stocks, right? But it doesn't have a value till you sell it. Right. When you buy it and when you sell it, it has a value.
Supply and demand.
Everything
yes.
else is an estimate.
You make a good point. I mean, from the outside, this house over here may be right next door to you and have very nice plumbing, very nice appliances, and your house may not be the same. They're not looking inside there. It's not really apples to apples a lot of the times. But like in my neighborhood, you got people really stepping up to the plate and doing some fantastic, lovely remodels, and it's just bringing up the values in the neighborhood.
Right. Absolutely. So we've got some news, Logan, about Gainesville High School. So tell us what's going on there with the football coach.
Yeah, so it has finally been announced. I know there's been a lot of speculation over the last couple of days. Of course, we heard earlier in the week that Coach Josh Niblett stepped down from his role, and still no official word yet on where he's going to be going, but a lot of rumors point to the mountains out there in Colorado. We're still waiting for the official word on that, but yeah, Gainesville, they've went out to Grayson High School, got their coach there, Sartavius Bryant, and there's going to be a press conference today. We've got a local reporter there, so we're going to have, I'm sure, a few words from him and get some quotes, and excited to see him come down here to Gainesville. And him and Josh Niblett actually worked together years ago, so we're getting that kind of coaching tree started here, Martha. So love to see that.
Is he one of those guys that came out of Hoover, too?
He came with Coach and his first staff.
Oh, okay.
And then was hired away to go to Grayson and won a state championship down there.
Oh, okay.
So he's one. I mean, we got better facilities right now than Grayson. So
yes.
I mean, and we got a good team coming back. So I'm really thrilled to have him. Logan just sounds great every time he talks. I mean, this guy here is smooth. He is smooth. But I think it's good for Gainesville for this, and I think we'll have a lot of people rally around our new coach because he's impressive.
It's a really plum job.
Yes.
Okay, it's a nice job. I mean, Gainesville High School has got a tradition that is, you know, really second to none. It is a great community. Grayson's a nice town too, but I'm sure, you know, he had an eye on he'd like to come back to Gainesville someday.
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing.
Well, you just look at our stadium. Of course, Buford went right past us, but our stadium's pretty top-notch right now.
Yeah, it is, Buford. God, that's a whole nother story. I do, you know, Buford's in my district. I'm on the State Board of Education, so I've had meetings down there. They are really an amazing kind of facility, not only just for football, but their educational stuff, all the things they do in Buford City. They do great.
They're good in all sports down there. It's impressive. So I'm looking forward to that press conference today to see what Centavius has to say.
See what happens there. Of course, we had our new mayor sworn in yesterday.
Good guy, my neighbor.
Yep, there's a lot of things that are happening related to our local government. And, you know, we spend a lot of time here talking about national news and international news and that kind of thing. But we're getting ready to start the legislative session, which is local. We've got new county commissioners in different places around the state. We've got new city council members. We've got new mayors. And so there's a lot of things that can be done locally. And what I would say to folks is, yes, be worried about what's happening around the world, but I think focus more on your local, what's happening in your local area. I'll worry about the stuff that's happening internationally and nationally because I think that that there's a lot of great things happening, and we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of this country, and I look forward to the kind of celebrations we're going to have here, and we need to do a better job of talking to our kids about our history, because I worry when I talk to my grandchildren that they are not getting a kind of positive history about this country for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. And I remember the last time when we had the celebration. I loved the bicentennial quarter when we had that. It was a fun time as a kid.
1976. It was a great time,
I think it'll be fun. I was 6 years old, and it was magical to me.
Yeah. I remember for me, it was the tall ships. Remember the tall ships coming in?
Well, the men on stilts was magic. I was like, wow, look at this.
Yeah, it was really great. I think it's going to be a fun thing. You can go to America250.org and see things that are going on all around the country, and I look forward to that. So we're going to kind of wrap it up where we started today. Obviously, what I'm just going to guard y'all against is I admit that I err on the side of supporting law enforcement every time. Okay, I'm going to err on the side of law enforcement. But we got to get all the facts in before we say it was irresponsible for the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis to go out and make definitive statements about what happened yesterday in Minneapolis. That is not helpful, because you've got to have the investigation. You know, my husband and I, John, spend a lot of time watching this true crime stuff. And one thing I have learned from that is what you think is what happened at the beginning, a lot of times the evidence does not actually point that way.
Isn't it fascinating how they come to the truth like that, and it's just amazing to me.
And then it hurts. If you work against finding the right information, then stuff gets out. And, you know, because of social media and all that, these wrong reports are out there forever. Okay? And so that's why you have to be very careful.
Just remember poor Richard Jewell.
Yes.
I mean, I saw the picture and I said, okay, that's it.
Yes.
That's him. And
yes.
It wasn't even close to him, and just it destroyed his life.
It destroyed his life. That's right. And that was before social media.
Yes.
You know, and now I think that there's a lot of things, and I hear people, you know, I don't know if you ever use Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm married. I have to, yes.
Yeah. Really? Do you have to use it?
Yeah.
I think it's awful. I think Reddit is awful in general about issues because the information's wrong. Now, I think it's probably good, like if you're sharing recipes and you're doing that kind of logistical stuff. But the threads I've read about issues are just crazy.
People come up with a lot of look. I love a conspiracy. The JFK's always been big in my heart, but people love conspiracies, and it sounds good. But I tell myself, I'm not living in a Netflix movie. This is not going to happen. Okay.
Well, and usually the simplest explanation is the right one. Not always, but usually it is.
Occam's razor, yes.
Yes, usually it is. And so we'll see what happens there. But there's lots of good things happening. Thank you for coming in today.
I enjoy this immensely.
Thank you so much. And we're going to have some fun with this. And we look forward to you being a part of this conversation as time goes on. You can always get me. You can send me an email at martha@marthazoller.com. I will eventually get back to you because I read everyone and respond myself. But we want you to be a part of this discussion, and we want you to be a part of this community because we're always